Today I'm walking you through the process and teaching you how to make an amazing strawberry mead at home. So let's get started. So this mead is spectacular. It's a strawberry and lemon mead. The lemon side is optional, I'll say. I think it pairs well, but at the base value of what we're doing today, I'm going to teach you how to make a strawberry mead. The process is pretty simple. You will need some ingredients, some equipment, things like that. So let's start with that. Here's the whole list of equipment that you'll need to make generally speaking, a mead at home. You'll want to use a bucket or some wide mouth fermenter for this because fruit is not easy to get out of a carboy. So that's what I suggest. If you do it in a 1 gallon carboy, you can do it okay-ish, but at larger volumes, it's hard. There's all that equipment. Now let's talk about the recipe card. As you see on screen, I'm gonna put 2 up. I'm gonna say just the strawberry side, and then I'll put my lemon added element as well on a separate card. So there's both cards. As I walk you through this mead today, I'm not gonna say exact volumes to add because as those cards have hinted, these are for a 1 gallon recipe. So generally speaking, if you wanna go larger than that, multiply. I don't wanna say specifics because it will get confusing if you're making smaller or greater than what I'm doing. So I'll just say the basic parts of like, I'm adding my honey here and so on and so forth. We've collected our ingredients, we've collected our equipment, of course. We've sanitized everything we're gonna use, and everything about this brew begins 24 hours before you really mix anything up. You need to get your strawberries, put them into a container, and get Pectic Enzyme. Pectic Enzyme is this thing that helps to break down fruit skins, allowing them to get more juice and more fruit flavor out of it. So, in a container, add all of your strawberries. You're then going to take some Pectic Enzyme and kind of douse it over it, mix it up, let it set for about 24 hours. I let mine set at room temp. Generally, it does fine. That's not enough time for any bad bacteria or anything to get a hold of it. So, the 24 hours goes by, there should be more juice now coming out of that strawberry, or those strawberries, I should say. We then go ahead and mix together the honey, the water, and the yeast. With this one being at about 12% brew, the recipe I should say, we're gonna go ahead and stagger our nutrients, so we'll talk about that in a second. But after you mix your honey, your water, your yeast, your strawberries together, you're going to take a gravity reading, a specific gravity reading. Using a hydrometer, you float it in the tube, and that helps you identify the starting gravity, which helps you at the end tell the total alcohol by volume. So this one started roughly, I wanna say about 1.090, and then we just recorded that number. As I said a moment ago, we are going to stagger our nutrients, meaning we're using Fermaid O pretty much exclusively for this, but you can use other ones. We're gonna add our nutrients over the course of 2 days. So I waited to add some until 24 hours after fermentation had started, and then I waited another 24 hours and added it at 48 hours post-fermentation starting. We split our nutrients and added it in 2. Some people do 3 or 4 iterations, I just did 2. The fermentation should be clean here. We're using a clean fermenting yeast that will hopefully help to get the tropical-y flavors, the bright fruity flavors out of the strawberries, so that's why I included that yeast specifically. Fermentation goes by about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It doesn't hurt to go ahead and every once in a while, if your fruit are really floating at the top, make sure you kind of stir them up a little bit so they stay underneath the surface. Doesn't allow any time for mold or anything to get a hold of it. You might be questioning me saying, wait, I've heard that strawberries in fermentation with the seeds get a plasticky taste. And I think that can be true. However, with this brew, I didn't note it. So I kind of just left the seeds there. We fermented on the strawberries in primary and let it go. At the end of fermentation, 2 or 3 weeks later, we had a new gravity reading of 1.000. That means when you contrast those two and you plug them, or the starting gravity and the current gravity, you put those into this formula, we're looking at roughly about a 12-ish, 11.8-ish% brew. We then rack into a new container with an auto siphon and tubing into a bucket. We're gonna go ahead and stabilize this brew. You can either stabilize with potassium sorbate and metabisulfite, or pasteurized. Regardless, you're gonna want to back sweeten this. So I highly suggest to choose one of those options. We used potassium sorbate, metabisulfite, and we stabilized it. We then decided, because I'm doing a lemon version, I'm gonna add my lemon at this point. If you just wanna keep with a strawberry mead, you're really just gonna go ahead and back sweeten, because it's not gonna be very good dry, to be honest with you. So after it's stabilized for about 24 hours, you can go ahead and back sweeten. So adding more honey in this circumstance. If you wanted to oak it, if you wanted to add other flavors, this is the chance to do it. So regular strawberry mead, back sweeten at this point, let it set for a while longer. Hopefully it will clear up, but we'll see. For the lemon version, I added some lemon zest and some lemon juice, and we added it straight into the fermenter or after we stabilized. And then we also back sweetened. So we back sweetened around the same point. We got it up to, I think, about 1.030 final gravity, which is plenty sweet to contrast the lemon side that we're getting here. Lemon zest is the way to go to get lemon. By the way, same thing for lime. Lime zest is the way to get the best lime flavor. Lemon zest, best lemon flavor. This is also where you could do spices. Like I said, all other ingredients could be added at this point if you wanted to do other fruit, if you wanted to do spices or stuff like that. The lemon zest was in for about a week, and then because we had back sweetened, because we had done the zesting, I wanted to do a tasting. So I want to show you a quick tasting I did with my buddy Doing the Most, who has his own YouTube channel about homebrewing, and he gave me his notes on it. So here's that. BC, welcome to the tasting of a strawberry and lemon mead. Let's taste.
Let's do it.
It's a little hazy.
I was gonna say, I would not guess that this is strawberry or lemon based on the color.
Oh, I was saying hazy. But yeah, color is definitely more orange. Mm-hmm. What do you got on the nose?
Definitely strawberry on the nose, like a soft, like vanilla strawberry kind of aroma. Mm-hmm. It's pillowy and light.
Pillowy.
Yeah.
This is strawberries and primary. So
okay, great. I mean,
it's taboo.
It really smells like strawberry jam. Mm-hmm. I don't really pick up any lemon unless I really look for it.
There's some zest, but and some juice.
Gotcha.
Go for it.
All right.
I've already tasted it a bunch. I know exactly what this tastes like.
What's the ABV on this?
10.
Okay. For some reason, I expected this to drink a lot lighter, and it hit me.
Yeah, I think it's 10. I'm going off the top of my head. It's definitely a little more, it's stout.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's got some chew to it.
And we're, in truth, maybe about 30, 45 days old.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't taste super young, but it's got some heft to it.
Yeah.
Like you can almost chew the honey in here. And the alcohol, it's not like a heat, not like a young heat, but it's definitely like it warms you from the inside.
Like, oh, this has alcohol in it, for sure.
And you can see it's leggy. Like you can see it running down your glass there. I think the strawberry and the lemon are pretty well balanced. Generally, I like a lot of lemon, so like I think I would probably add just a little bit more acidity to it.
But I thought about some citric acid too, maybe.
It's bright. The strawberry is definitely there. For strawberries in primary, I'm impressed with the extraction you got here.
It doesn't have that typical, to me at least, plasticky taste that everybody describes with strawberries in primary, especially.
No Band-Aid there. The tannin's nice. The tannin's interesting.
I think I used
It's like a under the tongue kind of sensation.
I do agree. I think the smidge of acidity added, but I don't necessarily know if I want to go too much into lemon juice more.
Yeah, I get that.
I kind of like, I don't necessarily want the flavor, but I want the acidity.
It's good. I love the aroma. I mean, it's just all strawberry on the nose. I mean, it's very good for something that's 45 days old. It's leggy and viscous, and it tastes like honey. All the things that you want in a 10% mead.
Well, I'm gonna send it to some competitions, and maybe do some things. This is pre-bottling, so I might. How about this? I'm just gonna jump to some changes, and then I'll come back. So I came back after that tasting and said, all right, I'm gonna listen to his notes. This needs some more acid. So we added specifically citric acid. We just sprinkled some inside of the container because I hadn't bottled it yet. And then we went ahead and bottled it. So we had our lemon, our citric acid, our back sweetening, our strawberry, all of that. Again, I'm saying lemon and things, but you don't have to do that. You could have still just added some citric acid to your regular strawberry mead and bottled it. You'll notice this is not very clear, but let's go ahead and taste it with some adjustments after my buddy BC did some tasting. All right, you saw what it looked like. Looks pretty dang good. It is not clear. I could have cleared this with the many options I have for force clearing a brew, or you can just let it set over some time. I have a feeling with this being bottled and setting for a while that this is gonna have some sediment at the bottom because things will settle out over time. So clarity is not the end of the world, but we do sort of drink with our eyes first, as my buddy BC says. So let's see what this tastes like with some extra citric acid. It's just so refreshing and clean. The strawberry and lemon really give like a strawberry lemonade sort of vibe, which is something I really wanted there. It is about 12% and sweet, so it's kind of deceiving because you might think to yourself, oh, this thing is like 6%. No, this thing's 12%. It'll knock you flat on your butt, but it's super good. I highly recommend to make it, so both cards will be on screen. The process is super simple, and so I hope you'll go try it. The really cool thing about what I did here is that you essentially, for most fruited brews, you sub out the fruit that I said, follow the same process, and you can make yourself a very good fruited mead. I know strawberry is a contentious one though, because some people say it doesn't quite taste as great post-fermentation, like the Band-Aid-y, plasticky side. So I don't get that here, luckily. I'll be curious if I submit this to some competitions. I plan on doing so. If I have, by the time this video goes out, here are some results. If not, there's nothing there, so we'll see. I plan on submitting some of this stuff. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Go try a strawberry mead. Ask some questions down below to hopefully get more clarification if I didn't quite tell everything well enough for you. And thank you for watching. Cheers.